in every aspect of my company, whether it be the marketing or the finance or the day-to-day operations or the sales cycle, I have a checklist. I'm a huge checklist guy, right? To the point of, some might say it's a little over the top, but the benefit to me of creating checklists is it's the starting point of consistency in your business. So what I do with my checklists, and I'm sure you have some of your own, is
to be fair,
yes,
I'm a little bit more fly by the seat of my pants.
Little more
Not in a good way. I probably should get better at
Well, you can watch this video.
So this is good.
Yeah.
This is good for me.
That's why we work well together.
Yep.
So to me, the importance of the checklist is there are so many aspects of what you're trying to create in your company. And there are so many nuances of what you're trying to create that without a checklist, I would miss so many important things. So we could talk the marketing checklist that I use right now, because we could do it for any one of them. But every month, at the beginning of the month, there are certain key activities that I want to make sure that happen. And those have come from my strategic planning of what do I want my outreach to be to my clients, right? So every month for me, it is, I want to make sure that I write a couple blogs for the month on whatever the topic is or focus is going to be for that month. And then from there, it's, I want to ensure that my social media presence continues throughout the month. And on top of that, I want to ensure that I maybe have 1 or 2 email marketing campaigns that month. So we could go on and on down that checklist. But these are all things that have come about over time from me having like pretty much the good idea fairy, right? You know, you ever been in the car? You're driving.
I'm in the car a lot.
Right. And you know I'm in the car a lot because you get that message
that
that says I'm driving.
Whenever I text them, it comes back and saying, I'm driving. Like, you're always driving.
Safety first. I got my daughter who is 16 now and is about to get behind the wheel.
Yeah.
And I'm really trying to model.
Yeah.
Trying to model with that.
Yeah, I'm always scared of that. My kids are way better at that than I am.
Yeah.
Which is important.
So when we go to this, like,
do what I say, not what I do.
Right, exactly.
Which we're not. That's not the type of business owner.
We're doing what we said.
We're doing what we say.
Exactly. And so I have, you might have these moments where you grab something that you really want to, or you do something that you really liked. I'm like, that went really well. And then the day-to-day operations of a business can make that very easy to kind of float away. And how many times have we said to ourselves, man, I forgot that. I was doing that. I forgot to stay on
Well, if we're
that.
talking about personal stuff, I mean, like I've definitely been in that situation. Like with my own business, I got so busy doing the business of other people that I stopped marketing myself. And then I had a couple of issues, not just losing clients over the natural course of client turnover, but then also like my personal website went down and I had my eye completely off the ball.
Right.
Right. So like that was a big thing I needed to address that I never addressed. Checking in on my own stuff.
Right.
Versus like what I was doing for my clients.
Right. And it's easy for that, and you might listen to this video and say, how can you let your own website fall apart? Well, put it this way, how often do singers listen to their own songs?
Right.
Some do, they're really narcissistic. But like, you create your website and you will update it probably regularly, which is another thing, right? So,
or how often do I run into a client who hasn't updated their website in 5 years?
All the time.
And there's stuff broken on
Right.
it. And they're like, why am I not getting any leads? And it's like, well, your website doesn't work. Like, it's literally, I can't navigate it. So like you're solving, but we're doing this, we're trying to scale. Right? That's the thing. It's like, it's like once you get to the point where you're doing the work in your business, that's when this stuff becomes important. So the more of the stuff you can do ahead of time, the better off.
Yeah, and for me, I'm glad you brought the website on because I'm in the same boat with that. The website is this thing, it's a great example in this example. It is a form of inbound marketing, which watch our marketing video on inbound, outbound marketing. That was a great plug, thanks. But it's a form of inbound marketing, right? And once it's there, it kind of can live and it can be forgotten. Now there's a million things like that in your business that can just, because they're there and they don't scream out your name all the time, like, hey, look at me, they can be forgotten. So how do we not forget them? We not forget them, which is horrible English. We remember them with checklists.
Right.
So every month, I pull that marketing checklist And it's all the things that over the years of being in business, I realize are really important and I got to make sure I touch on. And that came out 2 days ago for February for me. And I now put it front and center on my desk and I write February at the top and I just go down the list and I check them off. And sometimes it'll take me 4 or 5 days to complete it. But I know that I hit everything for that month that's important for me to kind of keep the business moving forward. And that ensures success. Now, the further benefit, so that's me doing it. Now let's look at growth related stuff. And that checklist becomes very important because now I can onboard someone. Now I could even hire a contractor, say for, I need to take this off my plate because we're growing and my focus needs to be here and not there. And I've now created a system whereby I can hand off that system and everything that needs to be done.
And the hardest thing is when you're scaling is to hand off that responsibility, is to delegate. That's the hardest thing because now you are actually giving up control over a process. Mm-hmm. But the best way to give up control over the process is for there to be a process that's written down.
Right.
That's not just nebulous, right? This is an actual process that we created. We know it works. I know it works because I've been doing it. So now this is the way to do it, right? And so when you hand it off, at least it's being done correctly. And if it's not written down, you can't really track that.
And I do it with client experience too, right? So, there'll be, and to say, I wish I could say that I knew exactly what to do every time the right way. It didn't form.
It's always probably going to be iterative, right? And it's going to evolve, right?
Yes.
And you're going to make mistakes and you're going to add to it, right? So there's nothing, even if it's written down, doesn't mean you can't do it again.
But when I had something I really loved, I wanted to make sure it happened every time. So then we look at my, new client checklist, right? So along that paradigm of new client, what do I do when they come on board, when we're just talking, when we maybe, sign the contract, and what am I going to offer them? I want to make sure every client gets the same experience. I utilize a checklist, right, to ensure. So blunt force fact number 1 for you today in ensuring success in your business is?
Put it on paper.
Put it on paper.